We are words written on page, stone scaped into sculpture, paint slathered on canvas, notes of music played on stages. We are artists. We are talkers. We are thinkers. We are visionaries. We are the lifeblood of what makes life worth living. We are artists. We are art. Welcome to Rev HiFi.
Welcome back to Rev HiFi. It's a pleasure to finally be back on my couch. Unfortunately, we're only going to be here for a week, because next week we're doing Rainbows Are Free, which is... have you ever heard of Rainbows Are Free?
Yes, I've actually seen them live, and I was really blown away.
Mind-melting, right?
Well, yeah, because the name is such a great misnomer for what they sound like and how awesome they are.
Yeah, I'm a huge fan. But we'll get to that next week. But for now, for this week, I have my guest, Tapestry, local Oklahoma poet. Would you think that's fair to say?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Local Oklahoma poet, underground legend, something like that.
Well, we're this is the first episode of our new season for Rev HiFi, and we're doing things different, and we're going to break these things up. So the first thing that we're going to do, we're going to jump right into our record review, which is a record that you picked that I had to go hunt down and find. Luckily, it wasn't that hard. And it's one that I kind of grew up with, and one I understand that
was instrumental in my formulations of my worldview at 16 years old.
All right, so the record in question is Black Flag's Damaged, which, classic. If you haven't heard this, you need to check it out. Why in the world, well, you kind of already told me, but what about this record makes it important to you? That's, I guess, the question.
Well, a friend of mine, an old punker friend, long past, rest in peace, good sir, he passed me this tape when I was like 15 and a half, 16 or so. And he was like, here, I'm going to gift this to you because this is right up your alley. And I look, and as you just saw on the cover, it's Henry Rollins with his fist in a mirror, smashed. There's blood running down his arm. I'm like, okay, I have to listen to this now. And it was what the inside of my head sounded like musically.
And could you maybe perhaps describe what that sound is?
Well, yeah,
in your head, not the album. In your head, what is that?
This chaotic rush of 16-year-old hormone emotions not fitting in with anything and not understanding why people are the way they are, and it's so like a galaxy different from the way you think, and you're completely feel like you're stepped upon for not liking the things people like, and this, that, the other. And this was just from the opening Rise Above to the closer. It was exactly like it's. Greg Ginn wrote lyrics and music that was the soundtrack to that maelstrom of emotion that was just at a constant full bore in my brain when I was that young, and still to some extent is.
Well, that's like, in a way the perfect description of Damaged here. So anyway, let's take a listen to it. We'll get into it. We'll get my thoughts on it, and so stick around.
Black Flag, arguably the most influential punk rock act this side of the Ramones and the Sex Pistols. It takes a certain level of teen angst to really break through the obnoxious surface of their music. And I, like many other disaffected youth since the band's inception, deciphered the code laid deep in the chaos of Black Flag's sonic assault. Like most early good punk rock, that code was one of anger, confusion, and an unquenchable thirst to thrust said anger into the faces of anyone stupid enough to listen. I say stupid lightheartedly, mind you, because once you get what's going on in Black Flag's music, you join a proud cadre of die-hard fans that are anything but stupid. You don't need to look any further than Henry Rollins' post-Black Flag career to know that he and the rest of his band is smart. They tapped into the hearts and minds of thousands of kids and offered something so visceral, so potent, it's impossible not to hear real torment and emotion in their music. Oh, the glory of being young. Damaged is the first full-length LP from Black Flag, as well as everyone's favorite liar, Henry Rollins, as well. It must be known, however, that while Rollins' voice breathes life into this record, he only wrote the lyrics for one song here, that being the closing track, Damaged 1. Actually, the album is a collection of songs mostly written and recorded at various times in the early years of the band, most of which were recorded with several different singers. Rollins, who was in the DC band State of Alert, joined Black Flag shortly before the band finalized the recording, adding him in quite hastily at the tail end of the sessions. The band claims that the lo-fi intentional sound was intentional, with little to no use of stereo. Although from my perspective, honestly, this may have been due to a lack of know-how, but goddamn if it doesn't solidify the rough nature of this record. It's ramshackled and pissed off. No wonder I ate this stuff up as a kid. Which, unfortunately, brings me to my evaluation of it today as an adult. Black Flag was one of the last punk rock acts that I got into in my youth. I think, listening to it now, I know why I sort of fell out of love with punk rock shortly after. If comparing it to other hardcore punk rock albums, Damaged is a much more melodic outing than one might expect, and that's a good thing. That said, however, my tastes have evolved, and their aggression no longer speaks to me. I bought this record with a lot of excitement. I mean, I couldn't get the plastic off quick enough to get the record onto my table. But a funny thing happened when the needle hit the vinyl. I felt old. Really, really old. I got through the first half and literally had to force myself to flip the thing over. I found it difficult to get into the groove, and it was heartbreaking. Now that said, I'm very happy to have this in my collection, and I may give it a few more listens if the mood strikes me, but I'm afraid that won't happen very often. I did love the nostalgic nature of it, but I won't be listening to it casually anytime soon. This stuff is for young men, which I am no longer. But if you still want your music to be loud, angry, obnoxious, or if you have parents that you wish to piss off, or if you love punk rock and have never experienced Black Flag, you can't do much better than this seminal release from our very important and influential band, the great Black Flag.
Six pack!